Welcome back. Now, tensions gripped in Nagamangala town in Karnataka's Mandya district after a Ganpati procession was targeted. It is being said that when the procession was crossing a dargah, stones were pelted. Soon, clashes erupted between two groups. During the clashes, shops and vehicles were set ablaze, prompting the police to impose restrictive orders in the area. 52 people have been arrested in the case and the situation is now under control. But Chief Minister Siddaramaiah has assured action, but State Home Minister G. Parmeshwara stoked a controversy when he said that stone pelting began accidentally. The BJP has blamed Congress's vote bank politics for the breakdown of law and order situation as well. Now, Mandya has also been a hotbed of controversies. Let's also break down why is it so. Because in January of 2024, Hanuman flag was removed in Mandya's Keragodu village and it was in fact replaced with the national flag. In 2022 May, activists claim that Jamia Masjid in Sri Rangapatna built on Hanuman temple. They even went to seek a nod to worship inside this masjid. Now, in 2022 March, villagers were protesting after the DC allocated land to Muslim for burial ground purposes, despite no Muslim population in 15 nearby villages. At the same time, in February of 2022, a hijab-clad student was heckled by youth wearing saffron shawls in Mandya College. In November of 2017, BJP and Hindu groups protested after Congress's government celebrated the birth anniversary of Tipu Sultan. And so, the question we are asking, who's stoking tensions in Mandya?
ಇಮಿಡಿಯೇಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಸ್ಪರ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿ ಮೂಮೆಂಟಲ್ಲಿ ಆಗಿರುವಂಥದ್ದು. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವು ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಇದನ್ನು ಬೆಳೆಯೋದಕ್ಕೂ ಬಿಡೋದಿಲ್ಲ, ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಇಲ್ಲ ಪೊಲೀಸ್ನವರು.
After damaging everything, whom against you will going to take the action now? Innocent people, they will going to take the action.
मैं मांग रखती हूँ एनए भी इसमें इन्वॉल्व होना चाहिए, तब सत्य क्या है पता चले.
All right, Charu Pragya, who's the spokesperson for the Bharatiya Janata Party, continues to stay with us. Mr. Deepak Timaya, who's the spokesperson for Karnataka Congress, also has joined in. Many thanks to you, Charu, and Mr. Timaya for joining in. Mr. Timaya, first of all, what is accidental stone pelting?
I think the people who have seen it as accidental should be able to, what do you say, explain that. But I can only say one thing, that these.
No, I expect you to explain what the Karnataka Home Minister, Mr. G. Parmeshwara, is saying.
I don't know exactly the reason that he used the word accidental stone pelting. So I think that we should be asking him. I will certainly ask him and find out. But I think that what he meant to say, that it was spur of the moment kind of.
But was it spur of the moment?
In the sense, when you provoke, I think some people get provoked, and I think people who provoke are also immature and stupid, and people who get provoked unnecessarily also need to be questioned about their maturity. I think when people behave in a certain way in a society, I don't think everybody else can be answerable to that. And we live in a land which has the law of the land, and we have a constitution, we have rule of law, and I think we should leave it to the authorities to decide as to who is right and who is wrong. Politicians are to do the police department's job or the judiciary's job, and I don't think there is any need for the police to be there at all. Now the police have sprung into action. The DC is there. So many police officers have been involved.
Don't you think it's too little, too late, Mr. Timaya? Because knowing that Mandya has been such a communally sensitive area, the police action has certainly not been timely.
See, the thing is that the people who were in the procession and was told by some of the officers, some of the senior ones, that were only about 100 people, and they were told not to go in that direction, but they chose to go because there are so many other roads which they could have chosen. And if you think that a Ganesh idol can be only taken in a certain direction so that you're not celebrating because you want to celebrate by only creating.
All right, I want to bring in Charu
I don't
Pragya.
think-
Charu Pragya, I fail to understand. How can a Ganesha idol be a provocation? Charu, please unmute yourself.
My apologies.
Sure, go ahead.
What I don't understand is how can the state of Karnataka, time and time again, take up action against every single procession, festival, or celebrations that the Hindu have. This is not simply about the Ganesh idol immersion this time. Previously, we have seen incidents happen during Ram Navami. We have seen the flag being taken down from the Hanuman Mandir, Bhagwan Ji ka dhwaj utara gaya. We have seen how, the pillars in the shape of the mace and the bow have been removed, and instead of actually taking action against crowds which come together and on occasion even chant anti-Hindu slogans, the government of Karnataka sits and does absolutely nothing. I think the A in this so-called Hindi alliance stands for appeasement politics. Appeasement and nothing else. Because previously we've also seen how the Karnataka government passed a bill where they were going to collect more revenue from Hindu temples and spend it where? Please update me. We have a spokesperson from Congress right here. So these kind of incidents which have become such commonplace in states which are ruled by you, not just Karnataka. Previously, when you were governing Rajasthan, again we had an incident of organized stone pelting on a Ram Navami procession. Instead of jailing and dealing with those culprits, what did you do? You banned the procession. That is the kind of governance you want to project in the name of secularism. You are the biggest appeasers this country has ever seen, and frankly, the people of Karnataka are already tired of these antics.
All right, Mr. Dimaya, the big charge is in front of you, and in fact, that's not just applicable to Karnataka Congress. In fact, the big charge coming in from the BJP is that whenever there's a Hindu ritual or a procession taking place in any Congress-ruled state, there has to be some kind of communal violence. Why is the Congress not able to protect the Hindus?
Mr. Swaroop, I would like to correct Ms. Pragya, because I think that she needs to understand that because collecting money from the bigger temples and giving to the smaller temples, and nobody ever said those monies were actually going into the mosques or the churches, because there are thousands and thousands of poorer temples where even the priests are not being paid, and the temples have not seen any kind of upkeep. And if at all there are, the temples with surplus funds are being patronized by richer Hindus.
But
or
Mr.
other
Dimaya,
people.
I'm very
If
intrigued
those-
by
if those temples
you use the
contribute-
term provocation. Where did the provocation
Okay,
come from?
let me
A bunch
answer
of
this.
Hindus are
You're
taking
talking-
the
let me
Ganesha
just-
idol
let me
for
answer
a
that
Ganesha
question.
procession.
Yes,
Where is
yes.
the provocation?
Ganesha festival is organized on a certain date, and also the procession can decide its route. But the market cannot be removed from the place. And let me tell you, please don't come to decide that the Congress party is here to only sit and defend the Muslims and whatever actions they commit. Let me tell you one thing, Congress party is a party that believes in the constitution, the rule of law. That means the rule of the law has to be upheld. And here, something is very simple. The Congress party has not spoken in favor of Muslims at all in this case. And we are just saying that whoever are the culprits, so that we have burned. We are not saying that the culprits are only among the Hindus. And let me tell you, even among Hindus, I can tell you very clearly, there are a lot of law-abiding citizens who don't want these kind of nonsensical things. And of course, they worship in a very, very nice way. And there are so many places all over the country, people who celebrate the Hindu festivals. And you seem to be seeing only those places where the
All right, Charu, please go ahead.
I don't understand what he's trying to say. Is he trying to say this puja was not conducted in his nice way? Is that what you're implying? Are you implying some kind of wrongdoing was happening?
The procession could have, the procession was taken into
I am
certain
sorry.
road.
No, but Mr. Timaya, let's not digress from what the Home Minister himself has had to say. All right, Mr. Timaya, please listen to my question. The Home Minister has implied that this violence was on a spur of the moment. How does such kind of a violence happen on the spur of a moment when you can see people running amok with machetes? We have CCTV footage over there. How do you
Let me tell
justify
you-
that kind of mob violence?
Okay, that is not in the sense. Let me tell you, I'm not
No, the CCTV visuals are there on the screen right now.
Let me answer this question. Let me tell
All
you,
this
I have not
is
spoken
not
to the Home
explained.
Minister to be able to explain all.
No, then
things for
perhaps
him.
you
Let me tell
should.
maybe
You
it could be
should,
the
because
wrong
as a
choice of words,
spokesperson for the
which-
Congress party, you ought to
okay.
be aware of what's happening there on the ground level in
Yes, yes.
Karnataka.
Yes, but let me also tell you that the Congress party is very clear about not allowing any kind of communal tension at all. I was told by the officials that there was enough police presence to prevent. But people
All right, Mr.
from
Timaya, I'm
going
also
from-
going to request my team to look into your audio connection over there right now. But Charu Pragya, you want to make a point. Please go ahead.
From whatever little I could gather, this is all bluster, zero facts. This was not something that happened on the spur of a moment. It was highly synchronized, highly organized, and we have seen that time and time again. And as usual, sufficient action, swift action has never been taken in a Congress-governed state. Another thing here is, Akansha, that the Congress seems to have developed a habit of appeasement politics, of following the dictate of divide and rule. Earlier, they tried it between Hindus and Muslims. If they still couldn't win elections on that, now Rahul Gandhi goes abroad and tries to drive a wedge between, the Sikhs and the rest of the country. So his policy of trying to divide India up into religions, into different castes, is not going to work anymore, and he stands exposed. In fact, at a point like this, I think the Congress spokesperson should come on air, apologize, and say we will deal with it instead of blustering and making excuses, where we can see on CCTV people are running around with these machetes and lathis in hand. This arson was not unplanned.
All
So
right.
are you saying, Ms. Akanksha, that people planning to take a certain procession only in front of a certain masjid was not pre-planned at all? That only having did the masjid there
Right.
was
This
pre-planned?
is exactly the point I
No,
was
no,
coming
is
to.
that a question?
That's
I'm just
a
asking a
question.
question.
I also have that question, Mr. Timaya. Don't you worry. I'm going to pose it on your behalf.
Yes.
Charu, they're also saying that Mandya has also been a hotbed of controversies, not just as much for the BJP as it has been for the Congress party, because they've also quoted how in Sri Rangapatna, Hindu activists wanted to go and offer prayers at a certain mosque because it happened to be a Hanuman temple. There are examples given of a burqa-clad girl who was heckled by Hindu activists. How do you respond to that? Why couldn't the BJP government back then control it?
So the situation is, and Akansha, with a lot of responsibility, I'm going to say it. I cannot say that there is zero crime in the country where the government is different. There could be a situation, whether it is an incident of a mob attacking or an incident of attacking a woman, so on and so forth. The difference is in how you treat these incidents. The difference is in how you brush them off and pretend nothing ever even happened. That's my problem. I will ask you specifically, when a situation like this arises in any state that you govern, why is it that you make excuses and don't take action against the perpetrators of this violence? Why is it that I've never heard people being jailed or being taken to task for incidents such as this? It didn't happen in Rajasthan. In fact, you want to ban our processions. That, according to you, is the solution. The solution is not to control the violence and the violent people.
Mr. Timaya, I'd like your closing thoughts. Does the Congress party take
I
responsibility for the violence that has taken place in Mandya?
I agree with Ms. Charu Pragya, who says that, these things happen and the government has to take preemptive action and also has to be very careful, because these things are being stoked and people provoking and wanting to get some political advantage and things like that. The government has to be extra careful. And I think the Congress government will be extra careful, because there are agents and organizations and also political dispensations which are waiting to profit from these things, and the Congress can't allow that to happen. I urge the government and my party's government to certainly take this very seriously and not allow these incidents to happen. And if there is a case of such things going to happen, we should prevent it, even at the cost of becoming unpopular with a certain party. Thank you very much, Ms. Pragya. For,
Right, and thank you
giving
so
me
much,
trust.
Mr. Timaya and
Because-
Charu Pragya.
Yeah.
I'm glad you called a spade because it is eventually the government's responsibility to ensure security and safety of the people of their state and not call it accidental stone pelting or the spur of the moment violence. Many thanks to you, Charu and Mr. Timaya, for joining in. And with that, it's a quick wrap from my end. News and updates. In fact, up next is the hard facts with Rahul Shivshankar. Stay tuned.